Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the preview for the game against Aston Villa at Villa Park in the Premier League. Now, Sunday is an ideal fixture for United to lay down a marker by fixing one of their biggest issues under Erik ten Hag, which is, of course, our away form against the top half of the table. Effectively, it's like top 9, top 10 at this point. In order to do that, you're going to have to match Villa for energy, organisation, the threat up top, and win your 1v1 battles. Now, based off evidence, Sam, do you think what we've seen over the last couple of games, are we capable of beating Villa?
Are we capable? Absolutely. Will we do it? I don't know with this team.
Do you have confidence?
No.
We'll do it.
No.
Okay.
This team's just too unpredictable. It's too inconsistent. There's too many holes that I've seen in the team that I think Villa will exploit and can exploit. So, do I think we could win it? Absolutely. Do I think we could lose? Absolutely. I'm really struggling when we get to the score predictions. I'm struggling with this one. Really struggling.
Yeah. We've had a bit of an upturn in form recently. Unbeaten in 4 or 5, I think, at the moment. But obviously, you've got Wigan in there. You've got Newport. It's kind of like when we got player of the month manager.
We didn't look confident in beating them.
Yeah, we weren't confident. It weren't confident at all. So you can read into that as much as people like, and stats and figures, and people will love that. But we ain't going to do that because we know what this team are like. But when you look at that West Ham game in particular, what did you like? What can you take from that where you're like, okay, we've definitely improved in that area, and I definitely like that, what we did in that game?
I think the midfield was key. Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. That worked for me as a unit. That really looked solid, and I really enjoyed the way that operated. There was a bit of a moment in the first half where Casemiro went backwards and sideways, and Bruno had a go at him, and then he literally did the same thing again straight after. So there was a bit.
Are you saying Bruno was moaning at someone?
Just that guy. I know we're not going to talk about blue cards, but my God, is that guy going to spend a lot of time in the sin bin? Jesus Christ. So yeah, that really thing. And then our front three finally looked like they clicked. Finally looked like they were working together. Rasmus Højlund with a goal, Garnacho with a brace, all connecting, passing towards each other, scoring more than 2 goals, which is something we don't do very often. And then, West Ham didn't really threaten us. So I can't really sort of comment on the defence because there wasn't much of a threat. Onana made a decent save. But, obviously losing Leacher, which I'm sure we'll get into, that was a big sort of horrible thing to see. But everything else, pretty positive, I think, from the West Ham game.
Well, you mentioned Leacher there, so we can just go straight to that at the moment. Obviously, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks. We don't need to mourn because we've already done enough of that and kind of expressed our concerns about how long he's out for. But who is, again, a question for the chat as well, who is the best replacement for Lisandro? Do you put Shaw there? Do you think Maguire's fine? Or he might be a little bit rusty? Will Villa target him if they bring Maguire in?
That's the thing, innit? You've got to think, if you put Maguire in there, they've got quick, pacey forwards. Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey.
They'll target him.
Is Dembele out still, or is he back?
Dembele?
Is it not Dembele? Diaby, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, he scored in the last game.
Yeah,
Diaby.
So they're quick, they're very tricky, strong. They'll exploit him every chance they get, I think, if you do play him. But then the issue you have, if you bring Shaw over, we haven't got a fit fullback to go right or left, because if you bring Shaw in, Dalot has to go left back, but then we haven't got Wan-Bissaka for the right hand side, so you have to play Lindelof, which I don't like at all. But then if you keep Dalot there, you're gonna have to put somebody at left back, and it's like, who have we got? Could be Amrabat again.
Amrabat in his first game.
Yeah, so it could be. So I don't like that option either, and I think that relationship between Shaw and Rashford is very key, especially going forward with the overlaps. I think so you need to keep that, and I think Dalot has looked excellent as well last couple of games on the right hand side. So you want to keep that going. So you sort of have to think it's either Lindelof, Maguire, or do you throw a wild card and chuck Willy Kambwala in there? That's actually 3 options, isn't it, really? That's what you've got to go with.
I'm not sure if Kambwala's able to play. I know he's been brought on as a sub there, and he's kind of gone over to that side and stuff. But yeah, I think that'd be an interesting decision. Ten Hag with a headache. I don't think you'd want the headache, but a headache there to kind of choose who's going in the back line. In the last game, it's funny, wasn't it? Because Villa played into our hands. They played that high line, and when we have attackers that we do, when we have players like Bruno Fernandes, do you think there'll be a tactical adjustment in that sense? Like, do you think Bruno maybe dropping a bit to help with that kind of progression through the lines?
I don't think you'd have to have a drop. I think because the way Villa play, they play with a super high line, like very much like the way Postecoglou likes to play with Spurs, super high line. And I think that unit of Kobe and Casemiro works quite well. So I think you can afford to push Bruno up and keep him up there. So when we do regain possession and we have we turn over, if we can ping a ball out, because we know Casemiro's capable of that ball, we know Kobe's capable of that ball. It's a shame we don't have Lissandro because he's definitely capable of that ball.
Was it Kobe who did it for Garnacho in Liverpool? Was it Liverpool game?
Yeah. So you've got, so if we can get turnover, they've got a high line. You knock that ball into Bruno, he'll have acres of space to either take a shot or play in a running Garnacho, or Højlund will be there, Rashford. I think you could take advantage of that, and I don't think you necessarily have to drop Bruno back, because we know when he does, he likes to sort of put the work in and hard work, but you know when he starts running back, he's going to make a rash tackle and give away a free kick on the edge of the box. And I want to avoid that as much as possible when you've got Kobe Mainoo, who's very good at it, and Casemiro, who sometimes, again, likes a rash challenge, but a lot of the time can come away with the ball clean, but sometimes just does stupid things for no reason. So I think that's the way I would sort of structure it, but obviously in-game things happen, things change, things can sort of manipulate, but that's how I would set it up.
Yeah, no, obviously the main narrative in this game is going to be Europe, in it. It's going to be, fight for Europe effectively. Because you look at the league table, it could really start, that gap could really start to open. Yeah. Is it as black and white in that for you? Is it, if we win this, Europe is still on, if we don't forget about it?
Yeah, this is the opportunity. We're 8 points behind them currently, Villa. Yeah. So if we lose, that's 11. I think after that, an 11-point lead is insurmountable unless Villa just basically lose every other game on the way to the end of the season and we win every other game. So I think that's a massive, massive lead. But I think if you win, I'm not saying that if we win, we're getting Europe. It puts you in the best position possible because you've taken points off of a top four rival, direct rival, and it puts you in a position where, and it gives you the confidence to then go, right, well, we've beaten a top four rival, we can beat another one. So I know we've played Tottenham twice already, haven't we? So we don't have to face them, but I know we've got, is it Arsenal, Liverpool and City still to play?
Still got Liverpool, Old Trafford, and still got City at Etihad, is it?
So those are the guys you're going to have to take points off, and then also the likes of Brighton and teams like that who are going to come up behind you and try and take points off you. So it's important, man. It's really important. So it's win or bust, isn't it, really, for Europe on Sunday?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's do or die. You have to win it. If you lose this, it'd be such a big blow. You look at 11 points is a lot to get back in the season. I know Villa are having a slight wobble at the moment, but it's a big gap. It's a big ask that to get them points and go on a run. I want to talk about Villa. Actually, they are having a little bit of a wobble. It's a bit strange at the moment. They went out to fucking Chelsea, of all teams, in the FA Cup. Got knocked out 3-1. Newcastle smashed them at home. And I think the last time they beat a team in the top six was Arsenal in November, I think it may have been, or maybe early December. So do you think now, if you're going to play Villa at any time, now is the perfect time?
Yeah, it's probably a good time. They're looking to try and regain form, and we're in some sort of form. We're winning games.
If we can call it that.
Yeah, we're winning games, so, I mean, you know what I mean? So, Villa are dropping points and getting knocked out of competitions. I think that's the risk. You've seen it with Spurs. Unai Emery wants to play a certain way, and nothing's going to change that, despite whatever the opposition is going to do, whatever sort of tournament or competition, whatever it is, he's going to play that way. Postecoglou is the same way. You saw him when he got down to 9 men against Chelsea, and he's still playing with a high line, which is just insane. But this is what these managers do. They have a philosophy, and that's what they're doing no matter what. So if we could exploit that, and you'd think we can, because with a high line and we've got pacey forwards, you'd think, oh, this is set up perfectly for us. Yeah. But then again, we have struggled to sort of get service into our forwards, and then when we have got service into forwards, our forwards are not connecting to each other, which means they're taking stupid shots or trying to cut in, and shot opportunity and goal opportunity XG is poor. And then the one striker you have who is a definite finisher isn't getting any service whatsoever. So you're just sort of hamstringing yourself all at the same time. Whereas if you sort of just connected all those dots, you could probably put Villa to bed quite early as well. Like, they're going to play that way. Just hit them on the counter, hit them on a break 2-3 times like we did against West Ham, and you're in. You can just sit in and you're good to go. But whether we do that or not is another matter, I think.
I think it's going to be fascinating to see what Emery does, mate, in this. Because you can't look at that first game, you go 2-0 up against the United team that weren't in the best run of form, and took them a lot to get back over the line. But it's naive at times a little bit.
Doable.
I know you want to play a certain way.
They are doable. Like, you can beat them. Like, and
Definitely.
you can beat them handily. Like, they will concede goals. You've seen it multiple times this season. It's just whether you can put those things together and do it effectively is the issue.
Just on Emery, the last kind of question before we finish off on Villa. What do you think happens with... Do you think he stays at Villa next season as well? That a big job's got to be coming for him again, hasn't it, sometime? I don't know when it's kind of coming that merry-go-round, but it's got to be coming soon, hasn't it?
You got to think... I think maybe he stays at Villa...
for another season.
For another season at least. Or unless somebody big gets sacked next season. Like, say, Arteta.
Liverpool? Klopp going?
I think Xabi Alonso's getting the job, personally.
I think so. I think he's definitely the favourite, but I mean, I would not turn my nose up if I was
no,
Liverpool
absolutely not. No,
Emery.
if I was like, if United had a managerial vacancy, I'd be looking at Emery.
Hey, talk about Highline, electric, Liverpool, like.
Yeah, like he fits super well, but I think Xabi Alonso's probably going to get the job. But
I agree.
Maybe,
especially if he wins the league.
Maybe Xabi Alonso, he comes in first 6 months and he struggles, and then maybe he gets sacked or something, and then Emery can step in. Maybe that happens.
Come back to this video because that could potentially happen.
Maybe Arteta, like Arsenal, are trying to fight their way back into this title race. Maybe they choke and they fail again this season after coming so close last season, and then maybe Arsenal decide to let him go. Because if he has a poor start to something like that, and then maybe Emery goes back to Arsenal, because I know he's been there before, unfinished business. He's seen what he can do. Maybe he goes back. So
I can't see him selling that to the Arsenal fans. I
no,
imagine Arsenal fans would have a fucking meltdown, mate.
Stranger things have happened. Like Benitez went to Chelsea, didn't he? And he swore he'd never manage him, and he went.
Yeah. Everton because he managed Liverpool, didn't he?
No, but he went to Chelsea as well. Yeah,
but obviously the rivalry is between Liverpool and Everton. That's when everyone was like, what the fuck?
Well, he said at Liverpool he would never manage Chelsea. Like, he said he'd never go. And then he went, and then there was a big furore about it. So, yeah, I like Emery. I think he's a very, very good manager, and I think you're right. At some point, a top job is going to come calling for him. Who it is, it remains to be seen, but I think he's a very good manager. Same with Postecoglou. I think there's a new sort of generation of like these high attacking managers, high goal scoring and stuff. Xabi Alonso, Postecoglou, Emery, that kind of stuff. You can see these managers. Deserby, another one. So yeah, you can see what's coming and what's like. These people have been influenced by the likes of Pep, the likes of Klopp, etc. They've seen and then they've took it to a different dimension or a different level. So yeah, I like him a lot, Emery. I think he's a good manager.
I think they play very risky football, and I think the difference is with us. And the reason why Ten Hag got absolute pelters was because we played risky football. But when our attackers got in the final third, they didn't convert the chances.
No.
The Tottenham game at the start of the season was a perfect example of that, where we had almost a record amount of turnovers, I think, in the game. And the attackers just weren't fucking converting them. So as a coach, you sat there saying, like, my plan worked, but the players aren't putting it in the back of the fucking net. And then ultimately, the coach gets it in the neck for that. So it's like, what do you do? I think that's why we had a struggle to the start of the season. But this midfield at the moment with us now, I agree, Kobe, Casemiro and Bruno, I think is the way to go forward. It looks very, very balanced. And either one can drop or sit with Casemiro and Kobe. So, yeah, I think that's working at the moment. Should we do some quick fire questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Man United versus Villa at Villa Park in the Premier League. Will Harry Maguire start?
Probably. I could see a surprise in there, but it probably will, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Will there be more than 2 goals?
Oh, definitely. Like this, I think there'll be a lot of goals in this game.
I think so as well. Yeah. Who will score first, Villa or United?
Hopefully us.
But who do you think? What's your heart saying?
Yeah, I'll say us because we seem to have scored early the last couple of games, don't we? We seem to have put like a couple of goals early, so I'd say us.
Yeah. Will a draw be sufficient in your mind?
For Europe, no. If you want Europe, you have to win.
Has to be a win.
You have to win if you want Europe. If we get a draw, maybe we can still qualify, but it's going to be difficult. If we lose, we're done. But I think win. So. Yeah, you have to win.
And who will be the one to watch this game, do you think? And there's two kind of answers to this. One to watch, you think, oh God, and then there's one to watch, you think, who's going to have a good game.
I think Garnacho will have a good game. He seems to be hitting form.
On fire at the minute.
He seems to be really, really good at the minute.
That picture, I love that picture.
That is definitely a lot of people's phones background at the minute.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like one to watch. And then you can't look past Onana, can you? Like, he's dodgy.
Especially in the first game.
Yeah, like he's gonna you've got the likes of Watkins, who's a lethal shot merchant. Bailey's gonna run at people. It's gonna happen, and he makes me nervous, man. Like he just does. Anytime he faces a shot down or like you said, a set piece, he makes me nervous, man.
I agree. I think Maguire's going to be one to watch in this one. I know he's been praised, and I know a lot of people were mourning in the last game, even before the game kicked off, and I was like, give the guy a fucking chance. Like, he's just got back. And he was okay, but there was 2 instances where he got caught out. Yeah. And I think Villa can target that, and they'll be looking at it thinking, Lissandro's out. You can target him, press him, get him behind him. Watkins, Diaby, they'll have a field day, I think. Depending on, how we kind of set up. So I think Maguire. But in terms of one to watch for us, I'd agree. It's got to be Garnacho. Højlund's in really good form at the moment as well. Yeah. He scored like 5 or 6 in the last kind of 5 games. So, yeah, it's nice to have attackers scoring.
Højlund's got the same record that he got for the entire season for Atalanta last season. So it's 10 goals, 2 assists, and he's on 10 goals, 2 assists already for us, and we've still got like 2-3 months left. So he's doing well.
All things considered as well, I like Højlund, man. I think he's like a likable person, character. He's got the right mentality, he's got the right ability, he's got the right height, speed, finishing, finish on his weak foot, which I saw in the last game. So I'm a big fan of him, man. I think we're gonna look back at him, and I think then we're gonna be happy with the money that we spent. Should we get to the teams then?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we've both got the same team, to be honest with you.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can just leave one of them on then, and we'll just kind of go through it.
I'll put yours is up, so go.
Yeah. So we've gone just to double check. Onana, Dalot, Maguire, Varane. And Shaw, Mainu, Casemiro, Bruno, Garnacho, Højlund, Rashford. Yeah. Maguire, I said Maguire in there, didn't I? Yeah. So obviously, it's only you'd like to think if it's a winning team, and obviously Lissandro can't physically play, Maguire would be the obvious one. You can't see him throwing a Lindelof in there, or even like you said, a Shaw going to
or Campbell or something like.
Yeah. I don't see any kind of twist in this because Ten Hag's very stubborn with his selection, and I think if you winning, you never change a winning team. So I don't see any reason. I mean, there could be some curveballs in there. I don't know.
The only thing I can see is him putting Shaw at centre back and then putting like Lindelof at right back because he's done that before, and
maybe, but then you're coming up against. You got to think about the wingers.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like I don't think he will, but that's the only change that I could see. I think the midfield stays, the front three stays.
Definitely.
I can't see them changing at all.
Yeah, and then of course the obvious sub that's going to be made is Scott McTominay in the 70th minute or the 75th minute. We all know it's going to happen. We're so predictable at the moment, but if we're winning, I don't care.
While Ahmad sits on the bench and doesn't get any minutes whatsoever.
We know the script, and Anthony gets on in the 80th and does nothing. With that in mind, Sam, what are you going with? What's your heart telling you your score prediction?
I think it might be a repeat, to be honest with you. I think we might see 3-2 again.
Again?
I think there's goals in this game. I think it's going to be like
I agree.
End to end. I think we'll score maybe 1 or 2, and then they'll claw it back, and then maybe there'll be a late winner. I think something like that. Maybe we'll see some of that. I think there's goals in this game for sure. Like if you look at their front line and our front line, I think it's set up for goals. Watch it be a 0-0 draw.
Most likely because it always happens, isn't it?
But 3-2. United.
I'm going to go 3-2, but I think it goes the other way. I think Villa beat us.
I could see that.
I think the crowd, 2-2, crowd get on our back, and the shout, and then like a Watkins last minute win or something. I can see that it happening.
I could definitely see that. Like either way, I think it goes one way or the other. I think 3-2.
And Europe's done. I think we both agree, right?
Yeah.
If we lose this game, Europe's done. So massive game for Manchester United. I just want to very lastly, quickly before we head off. A certain rumour floating about. Do you know what I'm going to mention?
not doing any more graphics.
Has anyone seen the rumour
floating
about on social media? I don't know if anyone's seen it. Let me just pull it up just to get the actual specific wording. I mean, I'm not even going to count what accounts reported it. I've just seen the name.
Sports Witness, I think.
Is it? Frankie de Jong is being floated about at the moment. Manchester United will be willing to bid for problems and stuff if it's on and he's open and it gets announced like, yeah, Barca are willing to do it. Is this a deal that we should still do?
Who does he replace?
Well, Casemiro's not getting any younger, so.
But do you drop Casemiro?
I play Kobe and De Jong together, 100%. Right. I'm not saying nothing wrong with Casemiro. I think you could still bring him in. Kobe's 18. Don't forget, Kobe's doing really, really well at the moment, but. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing De Jong in, have a transitional period a little bit with Kobe. I know he's ready at the moment, but players naturally after 6 months, they'll have a dip. They'll have a bit of a dip. Yeah. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. And you need an 8. Like, I know they could both do it, but Frankie de Jong, for progression, is just one of the top elite players in Europe. He really, really is. And he's on the ball ability. Even his defensive work's like top level. So you know my thoughts and feelings on him anyway as a player.
I think if you've got the options of a midfield of like Frankie de Jong, Casemiro, Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, like it's one of the best midfield selections in the world there, is it not?
On paper, of course.
That's like I'm never going to say no to having great players in the team. It's just I just worry who you drop, because do you drop Kobe and then you sort of like you've stopped the progression of a young talented kid coming through from the academy. Do you drop Casemiro? Is he going to be happy about that? He's on massive wages, came in for big money. So yeah, it's a tricky one. If he does come in, if you're looking to sort of eventually shift Casemiro out, then yeah, let's do it, and let's try like bring in Frankie in the summer, and then maybe you shift Casemiro the summer after, and you have that transition. Maybe one of the sort of another academy prospects makes himself undeniable to come into that midfield. Like, I think he's a great player and I'd love to have him, but yeah, I just worry where he fits in the team and who you drop to get him in the team. That's the bit I worry about.
For me, it's the competition that competition breeds success, right? You look at City, De Bruyne has just got back. They're like, where's Foden going to play? Oh well, where's Bernardo Silva going to play? Grealish is back. Where's Doku going to play? Yeah. Like, and then they have like, I don't know, even they bought Nunez from Wolves for like 50-odd million, and he's like hardly even getting a game. So if that pushes the competition, Kobe has got his position rightfully so, and Casemiro has done much better since he's come back into the team. But De Jong will just take it to that next level with me, that midfield. And I don't know, financially Barca are a bit mad at the moment. So if you can get him on a relatively good deal, you can't miss a chance. He's still only 24, 25, I think, Frankie de Jong. So good age profile as well.
Is his dream club though, isn't it? Like, he said it multiple times. Like, he loves Barcelona. Yeah. Like, loves Barcelona.
I know. I'm just getting myself hyped up for it, just because. Look,
I'm not getting excited again because we saw the whole thing. Oh, it's 90% done. It's 99 out of 10. Yeah, it's definitely happening. It's just all this shite. So it's just, don't. If you think it's happening, don't sort of get your hopes into it. Anybody who's watching this, because I don't see anything in it. But it's football, man. Things happen. Things change.
Strange things have happened. Frankie de Jong, 2024. See you in the summer, baby. Anyway, we'll let you enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Please do leave a like on the video for us. Any feedback at all is greatly appreciated. Of course, we'll be live for the game on Sunday, so make sure you come and join us. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, people. In a bit.